Jeff, welcome. Good to have you with us. Why don't we just go through the list, beginning with Moderna, which I believe got a FDA approval today, full approval for its vaccine. What do you think here? Moderna, from hero to zero, what's next?
It has been a rough 2022 for Moderna. I like all these names, but nonetheless, I want to be a buyer here of Moderna. And if you think about this biotech name, it's become a household name. It's a high beta biotech. But if you think about 2020, it was up over 400%. 2021, it was up nearly 150%. So it makes all the sense in the world, Ty, that it is consolidated, it is seeing some profit taking, but I think it makes a lot of sense in this oversold condition. From a technical perspective, we are seeing an opportunity in Moderna. And I think when you approach where you will see a continued growth on a biotech name like this is no longer just a micro cap. This is a $65 billion market capitalization company that has more growth. So I do like Moderna on sale, Ty.
All right, let's move on then to Netflix, shall we? Netflix is the name in streaming, but not so much in the market these days.
Well, Ty, I'm going to go 2 for 2 here. I want to be a buyer of Netflix. And yes, my guy Reed Hastings, we just saw him step up, insider buying of $20 million. But look what happened in the earnings. We saw a 20% haircut, and they really got punished. And yes, their global subscriber constituents are about 222 million at the current moment. We are seeing competition with Disney Plus. We are seeing other competition. But I think if you really understand where this stock was, it was nearly $700, and now all of a sudden it's been repriced. So this is an opportunity to own Netflix. And if you're comfortable with their international plan, their international growth, I'm a user. I just finished Peaky Blinders, Ty. I'm a big user of Netflix, so I think that theme consists, but we have to realize there is a little bit of cooling down from all the Netflix consumption post-pandemic.
The debate on halftime, Jeff, was whether Netflix is only going to where are we now, 475? So would that trade satisfy you? Where do you look to get out?
Well, if you look at the technicals, Kelly, they really line up, because they broke the 50-day moving average, the 200-day moving average, and then those earnings when you saw that 20% drop. But I think if they can recover here, and it seems like it is bottoming from a relative strength index perspective, I think it goes back to 550. That's where the charts are lining up. So it is going to be a substantial move higher.
Okay, let's move along to Etsy. Maybe a little bit tougher call, maybe not. Stock's also been hit. What do you make of it?
Well, if I could get an X on the border here, this is what I would be a seller, Kelly. I look at Etsy. I want to say it's a one-hit wonder. We talk about 2020. That was the year it really got involved. Obviously, we were all at home consuming more and more online. But if you look at the chart, Kelly, it's like a bungee jump. And I don't know if the cord's attached. So I look at the forward PE. It was in the 40s. It's come down to the higher 30s. But nonetheless, this seems to be a little bit too rich. And as these lower prices continue to be in price discovery mode, I don't think the bottom is in. So I'm a seller of Etsy.
All right. Etsy, by the way, is up 5% today, but it's been a tough slog. So now to AMD, which is one that often seems to be a tell for the semi space. It seems to kind of turn and trade poorly and then kind of tell you about the rest of the space, if not the broader market. What would you do with AMD here?
Well, I want to be a seller here of AMD, but you're absolutely right. There's been sensational growth. We've seen 4 years. The stock has, just been on fire. But I look at it as Intel's little brother. And I think the earnings was going to come out tomorrow after the close. That will really be a forward guidance, the criticalness of the forward guidance. But I look at Intel as just being a bigger market cap. And I know AMD has caught up to its big brother. But I want to be a seller here because really challenging looking at this chart from a technical perspective. And I think you're going to see more and more of this transition into just the bigger brother of Intel. So AMD, if you were in this stock for all this way, I think it's fantastic. But I think it's time to take profits.
Want to offer us a parting thought on kind of the NASDAQ overall here as we close out what might be its worst January ever?
Yeah, Kelly, and look, I'm a sucker for a sale, but I think you have to be really considerate. When you talk about sectors, you talk about subsectors. We still do like semiconductors. I was just talking to some of my sanctuary advisors and understanding that exposure. So how you're exposed, if you're overexposed in a market cap way versus an equal cap weighted approach to technology, I think you have to be understanding. But I think when you look at your exposure, this is the first time really you have to be considerate for the rest of the year as we have this battle between the Federal Reserve talking about interest rates. I think technology is going to come back. Don't walk away from technology, but be more considerate of that exposure. Specifically, I do like semiconductors.